Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to present on the stage. I just want to kick off by saying that every single time it starts with someone having this vision to create a platform, right? And a few moments after that, we seem to be falling into this trap of should we be buying it or should we be building it? And this has been going on in the industry for quite some time. And we have a clear winner now, right? It's neither build nor buy because you can't have one simple product or a solution being built for your visionary platform. So what do, right? We should be composing, right? You would have bought many, many products over the years and built some. So the clear solution to approach platform in the digital world is that you should be composing different parts of your organization to add value, right? Which is great, except that composing reusable components to form a coherent experience, it's not trivial, right? And we have done this over the years across banks, across the globe. And I just want to take this opportunity to share what has worked, what hasn't, and what are the top 5 insights and trends that are happening now in the industry, right? So hopefully I should be able to fit all of that in the talk. So here we go, right? Let's take an example that we want to build a multi-channel portfolio management system. And you do have the core bank, Mr. Pointer, yeah. You do have the core system that actually does the portfolio management, but for some reason, your leaders have suggested that you want to make it data-driven. So you build models that predict the market. And then your chief of product comes and says, oh, I want to leverage the whole conversational AI. Can we expose this as a conversational interface to the advisors, right? So you have 3 components. Now you have to blend them all together to have a coherent platform. Here is the challenge, right? Every single one of the pieces is itself a complex distributed system, right? They have too many moving parts, too many things to fail. And what we have learned is that things do fail in production, right? You can build resiliency, you can build fault tolerance, but you should eventually embrace failure. And as the speakers were also saying, right, like, everyone is now in a level playing ground. You have the same capability. So what really differentiates your brand is how quickly can you recover from this failure, which boils down to what is it that you're giving to your engineers to troubleshoot, right? We used to have just monitoring and logs, and that is clearly not enough. So the ask is, not just for the platform that you're building, but can you observe everything it integrates, right? And that's where we have standards like OpenTelemetry, where it doesn't matter what is the enabling tech. It doesn't matter if you have a number of products that are like off the shelf. You should be able to observe and quickly troubleshoot when you have failure, right? And that's the first takeaway. Moving on. Let's say you have an existing, let's say, a loan management system, and you have many of them. But for some reason, you wanted to build a new one, right? And you're thinking, how should I structure this change program, right? Like, and we have seen this tension in many, many banks across the world. But we know one thing for sure, right? Like, no one can escape Conway's law. And it just states that your team organization, your communication structure has a direct impact on the software, right? Not just on the technology stack, but the flow of information in the software. So, which is given, and we all know this. The real insight is, if you really know the problem that you're solving, and you also know the architecture, can you do the inverse? Knowing the architecture, can you somehow, for this flow of information, design the team structure so that eventually the team structure will produce that architecture? So this may not happen on day one, but we have seen it over and over that in a matter of weeks, your new org structure reflects in the software, right? So be deliberate about it and form the team topologies for your desired system. So that's the second insight. Now, changing gears. Once upon a time, we just had transactional system. We were all happy. We get these things done. But then we added reporting. Like for some reason, maybe performance, maybe compliance, the system engineers decided that you can't go directly use your live system. You need to replicate the data for reporting, which is fair. And then we added a lot more to it. We wanted real-time analytics. We wanted to do a lot of experiments. And then, OK, you can replicate it again. Maybe now you want to do lots of experiments, right? Like you want to experiment. Your marketing division wants you to exactly know your customer. And when you are experimenting with live data in production, you need safety. So you replicate again, right? So storage is cheap, and we all know that. It's OK to keep replicating. But at one point, it does matter, right? Because there is a scale at which the cost of storage will hit you. And if you observe the big data space in the analytics, people have been innovating a lot about it. You might have heard about data lake, lakehouse architecture, and so on and so forth. But the transactional side of the business has always been database and replications and multiplicity, right? And that is now quickly changing. So the industry has observed what's going on in big data and trying to apply the same thing in the transactional system. And we are seeing this, and banks are starting to embrace this tech because what is possible is that you can have the same transactional system. The data can be instantly shared without replication very safely to other parties, right? And you don't want a complex pipeline to take the data out, and we all know that is very cumbersome. So this is a new trend that's happening. There are more than one tool and frameworks out there that lets you do it today, right? So that's the third takeaway. You might have invested millions in transformation, but I have seen this more than one instance where a customer logs in, and the first landing page, the dashboard, is slow, right? And in some sense, this is an apple to an orange comparison because you're comparing what took time to optimize with a new system, so that's unfair. But it's also equally fair to ask, why is this the case, right? And we have observed this anti-pattern, so to say, right? Like kind of a snowball effect. So when you log in, this is a typical, you need a user profile. And maybe for the profile, you need to know what are the products that are allowed. And then you might have to pick, OK, let me pick the last 10 transactions for this user. And maybe can I upsell product, right? Which is good. But the moment, let's say, this customer decides to add another member of his family to his account, all of this repeats, right? And what used to take 3 seconds now takes 6 seconds, and so on and so forth. And this is problematic. And this has got nothing to do with a lot of people crib that, OK, this is a problem of microservices architecture. But in fact, it comes down to having an empathy on the network, right? Like similar to storage, at some scale, what you send over the network matters. So just because you have 5G does not mean your application is going to be 5 times faster. So this is the fourth insight, is that know exactly what is the shape of data that your channel requires, right? And do the aggregation so that you avoid round tips. And if it is a hexagon that the front end wants, you send the hexagon and not a big circle, right? So that's GraphQL for server-side aggregation. So that's my fourth insight. Very quickly, even your best employee on a bad day will make a mistake, right? So what is the most critical security concern for your banking platform, right? You'll be surprised it is not an external attack vector. It is actually someone in your team would have accidentally checked in the secret to the source code. And we have seen this over and over again, right? And that's because so far, we have only done one thing to monitor, is there a breach happening? But that's quickly changing, right? So we are trying to be better in managing secrets with secret operations where you don't prevent a developer or someone in the team to check in secrets. You actually encrypt and store it transparently. So you don't break a natural flow of software development, and there are tools out there that helps you do that. So those are the 5 takeaways, and I just want to say that there is no one secret sauce that distinguishes your brand. It is the collection of these small improvements across how you deal with data, your response time, and your team structure that actually amplifies and creates your unique signature. Thank you.